That's ridiculous.
It was a rough SmackDown for me. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I think
I understand, but Jesus.
the burial of Solo, it was a dark day for me. But I'm going to move on from that. We're going to move on to AEW. Okay, let's clear.
But this one's not going to get any. This one's not going to get any vomit on anyone. Huh? This one's going to be a-okay.
Well, this one's rough
get a couple
too.
thumbs up.
Honest. Well, this is an angle that you on our posts. Well, once again, hold on. Before we move on, let me just do a little plug for our channel here. All right, because some people might be joining us for just this segment. So if you're just joining us for this segment, please subscribe. We're on the march to 500 subscribers. We need 500. Okay, we got like 158 to go. We're like 342. Anyone who's interested in wrestling talk, this is the premier wrestling talk show on the internet. Okay, thank you to all of you who've subscribed. We love you. But all right, so we're jumping to Dynamite. All right, this was the 11th, September 11th. Episode of Dynamite. We're going to talk about Nigel McGuinness. All right. Mm-hmm. So Nigel McGuinness out of nowhere went to Christopher Daniels, who's an authority figure and works with Tony Khan. And he said, I got to talk to Tony Khan, right? I got to talk to him. And what came from that is he went to the ring later on in the night, cut a promo and said, yeah, I talked to Tony Khan and he's not afraid. He's a brave booker, right? And I want a match with Bryan Danielson at Grand Slam. And he did it for me, I guess. So out of nowhere, somehow the commentator, who used to be a wrestler, we know him, and
yeah, we know.
we've known him from the past. You know, I know him because I follow wrestling. But as far as this show is concerned, he's not really. Nobody really knows him as a wrestler. But I don't know. So here's some fans in the audience marking out for Nigel McGuinness challenging. It was a very impassioned promo. I can't say I remember all of it, but it was very unusual that Nigel basically is going to get this big title shot out of nowhere. And okay, well, let's just get to it. So let's jump to our ratings. I'll put our ratings sheet for anyone who's unfamiliar with how we rate angles here. And I got ratings from Vlad and Robert. So Vlad gave it a thumbs down. So Vlad didn't like this. All right, we're going to ask for his thoughts on this in a second. But Robert's at an indifferent. So he's at a 0. He didn't like it. He didn't hate it. So we'll ask for some clarification. How about let's start with Vlad. I'll give you 90 seconds. You didn't like it. Give us any thoughts you can with your wrestling expertise.
Yeah, I mean, so let me just back up a bit. What was supposed to happen, right, at Grand Slam is Bryan Danielson
against Darby.
Against Darby for the title. Okay.
Which was a good match.
But then they said, well, hey, maybe he can't make it. You know, Danielson can't make it because he's all messed up from, being almost murdered on pay-per-view, right?
Yeah,
that would make sense, I guess.
Yes, okay. Yes. He was suffocated by Moxley.
He was suffocated. He was suffocated. So, which, is a normal thing in AEW. It happens. So they said, okay, he's not going to make it. So then they're going to have a kind of a number one contenders match with Darby and Moxley because that's the whole
which
thing.
We will discuss next after this.
Yes. So then there's but then like Nigel's like, well, I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't know if he's going to do this. But I'm challenging him for Grand Slam because of all the stuff, their personal history, their Ring of Honor history. Like, who gives a shit, bro? Like, nobody gives a shit about your Ring of Honor history. I know that there's been some sort of thing where he always criticizes him on broadcast. I don't know. I know a lot of us don't really watch Collision anymore, and I don't really either. But I know he does do that, and he's playing it up to the whole rivalry that they had in Ring of Honor. But bro, this made no fucking sense. Like, if he's going to be there, he should be there to defend his title. Why would he fight a semi-retired wrestler that hasn't wrestled in, 10 years? What the fuck? So, no, I did not like this at all. I like Nigel, obviously. I do like him. And he looks great, by the way. I think he's right. He is in the best shape of his life. I remember him in TNA. He did not look as good as he does now. I know more from TNA than Ring of Honor. I didn't watch Ring of Honor a lot, but I did watch him in TNA.
Yeah.
But so anyways, the bottom line is, no, this doesn't make any sense. That's why I gave it a thumbs down. That's it. I'll let Robert.
All right. Well, let's Robert talk before we maybe continue the discussion if need be. But yes, Robert, indifferent. You don't really hate it, but I guess you don't really like it. So what do you got to say?
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I know the name as someone who watches a lot of wrestling. His name is familiar to me, but I'm not really familiar with his history because I never saw him in TNA or Ring of Honor. But just based on all the bad stuff he's saying about Bryan Danielson on commentary, I can conclude that there's some history between them, right? I don't know what it is, but I can tell that he doesn't like him. Okay, for whatever reason. Now, I think what was it? All Out, the pay per view that just passed. He did show up on one of the matches.
The Casino Gauntlet.
The Casino Gauntlet match.
Was it all
okay?
in.
He looked decent in that, but
Yeah,
I mean,
decent,
come on, that's
decent.
But to go from that to all of a sudden challenging the champion makes no sense at all. It's not like he's beaten a bunch of the other contenders on AEW. So for him to just challenge Bryan Danielson out of the blue, it's very nonsensical to me. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yes. All right. Well, okay. Let me just mention that also, in addition to your comments, for him, how really proud of yourself can you be if you beat Danielson after everything he's been through? We don't even know if he's going to be cleared for the match. He's like, if he's cleared, I'll beat him and I'll retire him. I don't know. This is just off in so many ways. So I'm with Vlad. Thumbs down on this one. It was interesting because it was just out of the blue, but I'm all for out of the blue stuff, but I can't say I really like this at all.